Hi guys, so today is Tuesday, 5th of May 2026, and I just want to do a quick trade recap. Now you can see this is US 100, by the way, 5-minute chart, and I want to show you a textbook execution of the Freedom Protocol. All right, so what we do is that we take the first 15 minutes of the opening session, that's of the New York Open, from 9:30 Eastern Time to 9:45 Eastern Time, and that forms the top and the bottom of the range. You can see this green line, so that's the opening range. Now, once price breaks out of this range, that's our signal to go long. And what we do is that we have a proprietary way of determining the TP. All right, so today's TP was 56.8. You can see it up here. And that is actually the most probable distance that price will go with the first momentum push out of the break, out of the range. All right, so and this is like, say, I would say 80% win rate, so to speak, 80% correct most times. So if price is going to break up, at least it will break up to this point. Now this TP is dynamic. It's not always 50. It's not a fixed ratio. We have a way that we determine that. And if you get to join my Discord, you'll be able to learn how we do that. Okay, how we determine the TP. So what we did was, once you can see the price broke out right here on this candle, that was the breakout close. And if we are to actually look into it, it was a very, very slim break. I usually don't like these kinds of breaks. It's not very strong. You can see we even had like a pin bar here, or a dragonfly doji, that's what you call it, but let's say like a pin bar. We had two candles like this, which shows exhaustion. But once the signal was printed, I decided to go with the strategy. So I entered on this candle. As you can see, my execution with this blue line, this blue dot here on this candle. And I want to show you what happened. So this was my first entry with my risk. So 1R is my risk. I use R to just codify it. Depending on what percentage you want to risk per trade, if it's 1%, if it's 0.5%, if it's 2%, if it's 5%, whatever it is, I used 1R to enter. Now you can see that I was aiming for this point here, but the trade went against me. Now, when the trade goes against you and reaches the this yellow line, okay, which you will learn about, that's the 21 EMA. So we use this yellow line to for our trade management and our trend analysis. But when price touches or crosses this yellow line is where we enter. We will do a DCA trade. Okay, by my trade analysis, this was an A setup. All right, so let me write it A. There's a way we grade our trades between A, B, and C, but this particular trade was an A setup. So let me just type it here. So there are two things we do. One is we grade. So we grade our trades, or we score our trades, and we give them a score, either A, B, or C. All right, and then the second is we have a dynamic TP. These are the two strong points in my trading system that you will not see anywhere. Okay, all right, and I will teach that inside of my Discord. So by the way, this our trade was A setup, which means we are very sure that the trade is going to continue upwards. That's what an A setup means. And then we're going to put on the most amount of risk. So what we did was, when we got to this line, I didn't just add a DCA, I doubled my risk. So at this point here, I added a 2R entry right here. I even entered late. I entered at the close of this candle. So if I entered 1% for the first entry, this second entry was a 2%, actually here was a 2% entry. All right, so total of about 3R, okay, in the trade. And the whole idea is Once I had my first trade here, if this is my first entry and this is my second, where is it? Somewhere here, second entry. What that does, is that it averages my entry to somewhere in the middle here. Okay, the first trade is in negative, the second one is here, but it kind of averages my entry. That's what we call dollar cost average. But because um I have more risk on this trade, it may really pull down my entry a bit lower. Okay, anyway, something like this is my average entry as at this point. And you can see we had this serious candle, which made me very happy because that pushed us out of this range. And but at this point right here, when we got back to the top of the range, I took a partial. Okay, oh, I think that was here. I took a partial somewhere here, somewhere down here. You can see the point here. Okay, so I took 75% off the trade. What did I do in that sense? I de-risked my trade. Okay, because I've put on more trade here by adding double risk. So at this point, I'm already in profit because I'm over break even and I'm in profit from the 2 hour DCA entry. And then so I took a profit here, and then I just sat out and watched as the price kept going, and this took a very long time. I was about to close the trade a lot, but I was seeing that we're having bigger um white candles, that's the long candles, what bigger white candles and smaller down candles, up until the point where we hit the final TP. So as at here, I was already 75% out of the trade. I'd already made about 1.5 hour or thereabout, or almost 2 hour, and then I exited the trade here. So overall, I made about 2.25 um of my risk on that trade. Okay, and I posted this in my Discord, where I always put my recaps every day. Um, and sometimes I like to just use AI to analyze my trade. So you can see I eventually made a total of 2.06 R total. Okay, but I had to increase my risk to 3R to get here. But this is how I trade on a daily basis. Every single day, this is a very, very consistent strategy. And I aim to make about 1 to 2%, at least conservatively 1% per day, using this strategy. And if you'd like to learn how to do this, click the link in the description, join the Discord, and if you really want to go deeper, you can get the Freedom Protocol video training, where you will be able to learn how to do this and how to build your wealth with trading. Thanks, and see you on the next one.